Hi everyone, I am here at one of my favorite places. Welcome. Yesterday, one of my oldest sons said something that caught my attention. I want to share with you because it got me thinking. He said to me, collies, shepherds, and golden retrievers are the best dogs. They're the cutest and they have good attitudes. And I thought to myself that was really funny that he thought those particular dogs had good attitudes. And I was thinking, what is it that makes a good attitude in a dog? And I'm pretty sure I know what he was thinking. I think he was thinking that, those dogs he thought would be good family dogs, good with kids, playful. But I thought how interesting it is that sometimes we make judgments about what's good and bad. And sometimes we make judgments about what's desirable and what's undesirable. And in the context of what God thinks is desirable and undesirable, sometimes I wonder if we have the same view. Because what I was thinking about was, there's no bad breed and good breed of dogs. There's not really a desirable and undesirable breed of dog. It depends on the dog's purpose. So Egan's purpose is to have a pet. And so there are more and less desirable dogs for the purpose of having a pet. But those are not the only purposes that dogs have. Some dogs are therapy dogs. Some dogs are very high energy, love to strain and pull. They're dog sled dogs. Some dogs are hunting dogs. Some dogs are great at herding and they're farm dogs. Some dogs are trained to be rescue dogs. Some dogs are police dogs. They have acute senses of smell and they're highly intelligent and they can be trained to track. Some dogs are great guard dogs and they can be rather ferocious and they're not going to back down. And some dogs are really feisty and they will fight to the death if you need a guardian and a protector. And so when it comes to dog breeds, there's not really good dogs and bad dogs. There's not really desirable breeds and undesirable breeds unless you have a specific purpose in mind. And I got to thinking about that, how, actually 1 Corinthians chapter 12 talks about the church. It talks about the body as being the church. And it says, but we have all been baptized into one body by one Spirit, and we all share the same Spirit. Everyone following Jesus, he was saying Jew or Gentile, slave or free. It doesn't really matter. If you've been baptized into Jesus Christ, you are all of one Spirit. We share the same Spirit. Yes, as the body has many different parts, not just one. If the foot says, I'm not a part of the body because I'm not a hand, that doesn't make it any less part of the body. And if the ear says, I'm not part of the body because I'm not an eye, that would not make it less any part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, how would you hear? And if the whole body were an ear, how would you smell anything? Our bodies have many parts, and God put each part just where he wants it. How strange a body would be if it only had one part. Yes, there are many parts, but only one body. An eye can never say to the hand, I don't need you. And the head can never say to the feet, I don't need you. And it just got me thinking about, we have different purposes. And you and I, sometimes I think misjudge and we think, oh, that's not a desirable trait when we see something in someone. Oh, that's not a desirable trait when we see something maybe in someone. And we have to be careful because perhaps some of these traits that we see in people that we might not think are desirable, that we might not like, might be there for a purpose. They might be there because God has a plan for their life that is unique and requires them to have some special skills and some special attitudes that aren't required by yours or my callings. And so because we are different and we have different callings, we have different traits and different characteristics. Some of us are going to need to work harder. Some of us are going to need physical strength and physical energy because the jobs that we do require physical strength. Some of us are going to require great bravery and boldness to carry out what God has for us to do. Some of us are going to require a lot of creativity and creative expression to do what God has for us to do. Some of us are going to require a lot of emotional freedom and security and confidence to do what God wants us to do. And some of us are going to have to be empaths and full of loads of compassion for humanity, for those around us, in order to do what God calls us to do. The point is, my calling and your calling and her calling and his calling, it's going to be different. And so we should look different. We shouldn't be cookie cutter Christians. Yes, there's things that we should all be exhibiting, like love and joy and peace and patience and kindness, forgiveness, grace, mercy, all of those things, fruits of the Spirit and other wonderful things that are Christ-like. And yet there's a lot of other things that we may or may not have overflowing in our lives because we have different purposes and different callings. So what I might lack in energy, I'm hoping that one of my brothers and sisters is going to have in energy so that they can do what I can't do. What I'm lacking in creativity, I'm hoping one of my brothers and sisters has loads of creativity so that they can accomplish what I can't. Because we need each other. Because like I mentioned last time, we don't want to rely on our own strength. We don't want to rely on our own understanding. We want to rely on God, yes, but he has built his church. He has built his body to rely on each other as well. And I am not fit with every desirable trait to do every desirable purpose and work. I am only fitted to do what he has called me to do. And you are only fitted to do what he has called you to do. And we get into trouble when we try to do what other people are called to do, and we try to compare ourselves and wonder why we're not like someone else. Why am I not like a collie? Well, collies are meant to herd. My calling isn't to herd. My calling is to guard, so that's why I'm a Rottweiler. We're all different because we have different purposes and plans that God has for us. So be encouraged. It's okay to depend on others. It's the way God wants it. He wants us to depend on him, and he wants us to depend on each other. So God bless you as you give yourself permission to not be able to do everything and begin to desire to do really well what he has specifically called you to do. So God bless you. We'll see you soon.